What's going on Instagram? We finally got this live going. For whatever reason, these IG lives be taking forever to actually start when I push the start button. But that's neither here nor there because we here right now. So as y'all checking in, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what it is. Go ahead and leave a comment if you on IG. Tell me your name and location in the comment section. We're going to get started in a moment. If you on Facebook, you can tell me your name and location in the comment section. You can hit the share button, share to see your timeline, and you can hit the, what's the other button? The like button on Facebook. But if you on IG, you actually got fewer options, so it's actually easier for you. So you ain't even got to figure out what to do. So all you got to do is hit that, hit the comment button, tell me your name and location, or hit the screen. Just get those like actions going. That's what they do here on IG. So we're gonna get started in one moment. Chris from Vancouver, Washington, with the first comment was good to you. As y'all come in, y'all know what it is. My name is Dre. I'm gonna introduce myself formally in a minute. Today's topic, we're gonna be talking about, we got Belize City in the house. Today's topic, we're gonna talk about what happens when your back is against the wall. You wanna find someone's true character. You got to see what happens when their back is against the wall. And what I'm going to talk about here today, actually, I'll wait till we get into it, so I ain't even got to do all this. Saif checking in from Cali. What's good, Cali? We got Santa Monica, California in the house. Shout out to Santa Monica. I heard it's nice out there. I just heard the to live in a building out there like what I live in here is going to cost me like twice the money. So that's why I stayed in Miami. But anybody who is checking in right now, shout out to wherever you at, anywhere you live. And we're gonna get started on this material in like 10 seconds. I'm gonna introduce myself. We already had to start a moment late just because for whatever reason, the Instagram on this phone is not coming up the way it's supposed to. But that's, again, neither here nor there. We getting started in a minute. We got Ryan checking in from Virginia. What's good? My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, former 9-year professional athlete, author of 26 books. I've done 4 TED Talks. You don't know what a TED Talk is? Go to dreallday.com/TED. and educate yourself. I've created over 15,000 pieces of content online, and 7,000 via video. Y'all know the website for video. It's called YouTube. 7,000 via article. The website for my articles is dreallday.com. And through that audio stuff that we call podcasts, I call mine a masterclass because I don't just give you regular just banter. I give you a masterclass every day. I'll be giving y'all a masterclass right here on IG for free. You can get access to that by going to Apple Podcasts, Google Play, what's the other one? Spotify, SoundCloud. And I got a new podcast coming out tomorrow called The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. If you didn't know, now you know. So go subscribe to that. Any of you ball players, any of y'all who know somebody who want to be a ball player, that's Overseas Basketball Blueprint on all your favorite podcast platforms for free. All that being said, I do all this stuff under the umbrella of this whole philosophy, this brand that I created, this company that I'm the CEO and owner of, that's called Work on Your Game. It's all about taking the mindset necessary to succeed in sports and being that top 1%, taking that mentality and applying that mindset, those same principles to your business, to your life, and to your sport if you happen to be an athlete. One of my 26 books is called Work on Your Game, where I laid out this whole philosophy. It is right here in this book. I'll tell you about this later on today. And Work on Your Game is for 3 specific types of people. I got to remember to tell y'all this. 3 people who would need what I teach when it comes to this whole philosophy. Anywhere that I'm posting, anywhere I go live, you should listen if you are in one of these 3 categories. Number 1, you feel like you need more game, more ability, more skill. Number 2, you feel like you have game, but you are not showing your game and performing your game at the level that you want to. Or number 3, you feel like you have game and you are performing, but you are not getting the recognition that you deserve. So if you want more game, better performance, or more recognition, listen to what I talk about anytime I go live, read anything that I write, watch any video that I put out, subscribe to the audio that I release, read the books that I've written. Make sure you read this book and you will learn these philosophies, how I apply them in my business, how I apply them in sports, and how you can apply them every single day in your life. Because the framework, what y'all need to understand about a framework is that it applies to anyone, anywhere, if it's properly put together. I know how to put together frameworks. Y'all hear me doing them every single day right here on this live. I do it in my books. I do it on the podcast. I do it in videos. So you already know that. So the topic here today, again, is if you want to find out people's true character, you'll see it when someone's back is against the wall. I didn't put the word character there in the title there just because there wasn't enough space on IG, and I just used the same title on Facebook. But the reason that I'm talking about this one is because, with what we have going on these days, we see that there's a lot of noise happening online. A lot of people got a lot of things to say. A lot of people sharing their opinions. A lot of people are arguing, dissenting, getting mad at each other for whatever reason. And we don't know who's winning or losing right now. We can't really tell. We thought maybe black people was losing because a black person did lose his life. Rest in peace to George Floyd and condolences to his family. But then black people are making a lot of noise, or a lot of people are making a lot of noise. You even got a bunch of white people out there making noise and protesting and doing all kinds of things. Now you got a bunch of white people apologizing for being white. I think we can agree that's what's been happening in the last couple of days. And we don't quite know where this is going. I don't know where it's going. We don't know where the end game is for this. So the cops haven't been in the court yet, which is what the main thing is. People have been asking me what else I got to say about it. I mean, we still got to wait for these guys to go to court. But this whole situation, this principle that I'm going to be talking about here today will relate to that, and you'll understand how as I get into it. So first, let me tell y'all a story. I was playing in this basketball tournament some time ago, right? And it was a bunch of guys who were playing in the tournament. We was all on different teams, but we all either knew each other or knew of each other. And this one guy, he thought he was all high and mighty. He wasn't on my team, but he thought he was high and mighty. He thought he was the best player out there. He did a whole lot of talking about he was this, he was that. So we get to playing in the tournament. Dude didn't do anything, who was doing all this talking. His team loses. They don't even make it to the championship game of the tournament. My team wins the tournament. And this guy, when the game is over, after my team beat his team, he starts talking all this noise about, oh, yo, you're not better than me. I could do this. He started talking about how he was better than me after we just beat him in the game. And he hadn't done nothing in the game. And I'm like, dude, we just played the game. You didn't do anything. But then I realized, when I got a chance to really think about why he was talking all this noise after the game, what he was going to do. You ever see somebody don't do nothing during the situation, then when it's over, they start talking about all the stuff they was going to do? I started really thinking about it, and I realized why he was doing that. It's not because he really believed any of the stuff he was saying, because he could have proved it on the court. It was because, he was feeling insecure about the fact that all these people who knew of him and who had heard him do all this talking, he knew that they had just saw him not deliver on his word. He knew that they had just saw him not be as good as he talked himself up to be. So he was feeling weak and insecure and naked in front of all his, I don't know, I guess these people really believed him, so they were his little fan club. So he had to try to save face in some way, shape, or form. And it showed me, and the reason I'm bringing this up, because it showed me a lot of this guy's character. Because I've been in situations, any of you who plays a sport understands that you're probably going to lose a game or a match every now and then. There are going to be times that you come up short. And when you come up short, you really find out somebody's true character when they lose, when they fail. When they try something that does not work, that's when you find out somebody's character. Not when they win, because when somebody wins, it's easy to be gracious and to be humble and to say nice things about your opponent when you're the winner. But when you're the loser, how do you take it? When things don't go the right way. Like if you lose, can you shake your opponent's hand and say, yo, good game, or congratulations or whatever, and walk away with your head up? Or do you got to do what this guy did, and many others have done? They lose, but then to make up for it, they got to start trash talking, and they got to try to get the crowd behind them. Or in the basketball world, I don't know where any of y'all is from, but where I'm from, basketball player lose a basketball game, they might try to start a fight with the person who just beat them because they feeling insecure. So they got to try to make up for it in some way, shape, or form. So they start talking trash about off the court stuff because they couldn't win on the court. And this is something that you see again all the time in life. When somebody loses, they got to figure out a way to make up for the fact that they lost by coming up with something else. And again, this tells you a whole lot about people's character. So I want you to keep this in mind when you move forward in life, not only for other people that you deal with, but also for yourself. Point number one, as I just said, and I just stepped on all of this in point number one. I basically gave you point number one. If you want to see somebody's character, watch how they deal with failure. Watch how they deal with a lack of success. See how much mental toughness a person has. And mental toughness, as I define every single day on Work on Your Game audio masterclass, as some of y'all call podcasts, is that mental toughness is a measure of how much discipline and how much confidence you can still have even when the success that you have expected to achieve as a result of all that discipline and confidence has not yet been achieved. So if you're a business person, you've been putting a lot of time into building your business and it's still not making any money, and you did everything you thought you were supposed to do. You followed your whole plan. You went and took an online course. You signed up for somebody's program, and you did everything they said, and it still didn't work out. Mental toughness is a measure of, will you keep working? Will you keep figuring out ways to make this work? Do you still believe in your plan? Do you still walk around with your head up? Do you still see yourself reaching success in that arena, even though doing all the stuff that you've done to this point has not worked? That's a measure of mental toughness. And in sports, for example, if you're trying to get good at a sport, you're trying to make the team, you're trying to go pro, you're trying to get a scholarship, whatever you're trying to do, and you're doing all the stuff that you think is going to work to get you that outcome, but it's not happening. The outcome has not occurred. You're not getting any closer. You don't feel like anything is working. Do you double down and figure out a way to get back at it? Do you figure out another plan? Do you go figure out, all right, who can help me with this? How can I get some new information? How can I step my energy up? Who else would know what's going on? How can I deconstruct the mistakes that I made? How can I look in the mirror and figure out what I've done wrong? These are the things that people who are mentally tough do when things are not working out. There's a section in this book right here that's called Plan A versus everything else. You know, sometimes in life people say, well, make sure you got a plan B and a plan C just in case plan A doesn't work out. I don't believe in that. I believe that if you are serious about the thing that you want to do, that should be your plan A. And any other plans that you have are all in support of plan A. So, for example, and again, that's in this book, you can read about it. Plan A is the main thing that you want to do. Plan B is, all right, if plan A didn't work exactly as you expected, all right, how can you look at what you did in plan A, figure out where you messed up, fix it, and try again? And plan C can be, okay, who would have the information I don't have? Because obviously it's something that I don't know, something that I'm ignorant about that is causing me to fail. How can I go get, who has that information so I can go find it? Plan D can be, all right, how can I step my energy up? Maybe I'm just not putting enough time in. Maybe I just need to be a little bit more patient. Maybe I'm moving too slow. Maybe I'm just applying the information in the wrong way. I'm not applying it strategically enough. That could be plan D. Plan E can be, all right, how can I go about this in a completely different way? Maybe my strategy was just completely wrong. What if I flipped my strategy and came from this side instead of coming in from this side? Let's see how that works out. And plan F rather, can be, you know what, anybody who tries to tell me to give up on this plan or tells me that I should quit, that's probably because they gave up on their plans and they quit, so I'm not listening to them. So you see how you can have a plan B, C, D, E, and F, but they don't have to be different from plan A. They can just be different ways to support plan A. And this is all, again, a measure of your mental toughness. How many different ways can you figure out to go after the outcome that you want, even when your original strategy of going at it did not happen? And this is a measure of someone's character. And you look around in life, you may see people who have goals, or at least they claim to have a goal, or maybe you think they have a goal, maybe you don't quite know, and they're going for it and it doesn't work. Do they turn around and try it again? Do they keep working? Do they keep going? I heard Napoleon Hill say this in one of his lectures back in the day. Y'all can find his lectures on any streaming services on YouTube as well. He said, how many times, let me ask this question to the audience, how many times do you think the average person tries something before they quit? How many times does somebody try something, anything, any idea, anything that they're going after in life? How many times do they try before they quit? And people start yelling out numbers in the crowd as he's giving his lecture. And he said the answer is somewhere between 0 and 1. Somewhere between 0 and 1 times the average person tries before they quit, because a good percentage of people get an idea that they want to do something and then they don't try at all. They think their way out of it. So they start telling themselves why it's not going to work, and then they just don't do anything. And then the other people, they'll try something one time, it doesn't work, and then they quit and give up. So the average between 1 and 0, all the people in the world, is somewhere between 0. The average is like 0.5 times is the average number of times people try things. Most people never start, all right, let alone do they try. People who try twice, all right, you're talking about like the top 5% of people on the planet. If you try something 2 times, just twice, you're in the top 5% of people when it comes to mental toughness, or it comes to at least putting in a second effort at what you want to do in life. Let's just put it that way. That's an element of mental toughness, not all of mental toughness. There's an element of mental toughness. And you keep trying, while at the same time being smart, iterating, getting new information, talking to people who may know what you don't know, finding out where you are ignorant to fill in your information gaps. Then you will probably get to your outcome if you have chosen that outcome wisely. I talk about that in my Hard Work Ain't Enough Masterclass, which you can get access to for free by going to hardworkaintenough.com. Point number 2. Today's topic is when you are backed against a wall, or when anyone is backed against a wall, that's when you can find out what someone's true character is. Point number 2 is this. When you are secure in yourself, you can take a loss. You can accept a defeat. You can see that something went wrong. You can admit that something went wrong. You can even admit that it was your fault. And you can do all of that without pointing fingers, without blaming anyone else. And you can look at yourself and ask yourself, what can I do to make this better? What can I do to improve my next effort? What can I do to make sure we don't have this failure, we don't come up short of success again? This is what a secure person can do. A person who is of questionable character, a person who is insecure, a person who is not fit to be followed, they're not fit to lead. When things don't work in their favor, what do they start doing? They start pointing fingers. They blame this person. They blame this organization. They say it was them over there. They blame these people for not supporting them. They come up with all these excuses and reasons for why things didn't work out in their favor, but none of the fingers that they're pointing are pointing back at themselves. A true leader always brings it back to themselves. And it doesn't mean that you got to go announce it to the world, hey, everybody pay attention, it was all my fault. You don't have to necessarily do it that way, but a true leader is always going to look back at themselves. I did a whole masterclass on this topic called the window and the mirror when it comes to leadership. Now, people who are true leaders, when something goes wrong, they look in the mirror, because the mirror is a reflection of you. You're looking at yourself like, all right, where did I mess up to cause this to happen? Even if it wasn't your fault, because you're a leader, you take full responsibility. A person who is not a leader, a person who is a follower, when things don't work out, instead of looking in the mirror, they look out the window. All right, the window is a sheet of glass, it's like a mirror, but it's a little bit different. The window is, you can see through it, right? When you look at a window, you're looking outside. All right, whose fault was this? Who can I blame? Who can I point to? Who can I put all this on? Who can I put it on their shoulders so I'm not taking any responsibility for myself for the actions that I've taken? And you all can look around in the world, look around in your own lives, look at yourself and your own experiences. When have you stepped up as a leader and looked in the mirror and said, all right, this isn't working out and I'm involved. What can I do, or what did I do? Where am I responsible for this situation? And what points in your life also were you a follower? And instead of looking in the mirror and asking yourself, what can I do? You were looking out the window and saying, all right, well, who's responsible for this? Who can we blame? Who can I put this on? And this is something that I talked about. What's today? Today is Sunday. So it's been a week since this whole George Floyd situation in Minneapolis popped off. But I made a post on, I believe it was last Sunday. I think it was last Sunday I made a post, and it was called Dear White People. And I posted this on my Instagram feed. It's on Facebook as well. I think I have it pinned to my Facebook post, so all y'all can see it. And I made it very clear in that post that I understand that there are some, when all the protests went off and some of them became riots, and the peaceful, it seems like mostly peaceful protests that we got now, those that are still going on, I made it very clear. I said, look, anyone who's white in America, I understand that you might be kind of like nervous right now. You're not sure what to say. Black people is jumping down your throat for not saying nothing. They'll destroy you if you say the wrong thing. So you don't even know what to do to support. And now this last week, I mean, what have y'all seen? Y'all see all these white people who've just come out of the woodwork and they're apologizing for living. They're apologizing for being alive. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the black people for my white privilege that they now understand that they have, or they now believe that they have. Listen, and then now you got companies giving money and people pledging. Look, it's all good, the money. I'm sure, look, if somebody wants to pledge money, you might as well take it. But the thing is this, I've always been 100% clear on this from the very beginning, and this is not a new thing. I didn't just come up with this when the George Floyd thing happened, or any hashtagging or any protesting. I didn't just come up with this. I've been talking about this stuff for years. Any of you who's been following me long enough, you know this, and that we always bring it back to ourselves here. And this whole work on your game philosophy, you read this book right here, or this book right here, or this book right here, we always gonna bring it back to ourselves. I don't give a damn what the coach did. I don't care what your parents did or didn't do. I don't care what your boss did. I don't care if you black and you think all these white people are racist, if you think the system is oppressing you, if you think white privilege is slowing you down, if you think cops are trying to kill you every time you leave your house, we always bring it back to ourselves. And I said it in that post that the white people, we appreciate your thoughts and your well wishes. And if you want to donate money to this cause or that charity, go ahead and do it. But this ain't your issue. If black people feel like there's an issue for black people in America, then it's on black people to figure out what that issue is and to fix it. And for us to take our own leadership, again, looking in the mirror instead of looking out the window. This past week, and I've said this many times, and y'all been following my lives, y'all heard me say it, I see a lot of black people looking out the window. I see a lot of people looking out the window saying, all right, well, is this, or is that, or is them, or is him? Now, if somebody breaks a law and they got to go to court to face criminal charges, okay, then that's just the law. All right, we all accept and adhere by the law. So if somebody breaks the law, they got to go to court. So I'm not talking about that. So if these cops broke the law and it's proven and they get convicted, then they got to go to jail. I accept that 100%. If I broke the law, and I would have to go to court too. If you break the law, you got to go to court. That part I'm not talking about. I'm talking about anything outside of that, where people are just saying, well, the problem for us being whoever is saying it, whether that's a person of color, whether it's a white person, whether you're from the hood, you broke, whatever your situation is, if you think your problem is something that someone else controls or that something else controls, here's the problem with that problem. The problem with that problem, even if you believe you are right, even if you can trot out statistics, even if you got proof, even if 100 people, 100,000 people agree with you, even if you can prove it, the quote unquote prove that your problem is something else or someone else outside of your control, the problem with that is this: you can't control someone else. You can't control the system. Whatever you think the system is that is holding you back, you can't control the system. If you're black and you think white anything is in your way, here's the problem. You ain't white. So you can't control what a white person does. So if that's the problem that's stopping you from succeeding, you got a bigger problem. And that you can't control that problem. So what are you going to do? You're going to complain about it? You're going to bitch about it? You're going to march about it? You're going to protest? Or are you going to do something? What can you do? Again, as I said, this philosophy, we always bring it back to ourselves. Even if it isn't your fault, it is always your responsibility. Y'all understand the difference between those two? It might not be your fault, but it's still your responsibility. The only victims in life are people who are not alive because they can't do anything about what happened to them. You get hit by a car and you die, you are a victim. All right, because you can't do nothing. But if you're alive, you could do something. You might not be able to do everything, but you could do something. A leader always asks the question of themselves, what can I do given this situation? Given the resources that I have on hand, even if it ain't a lot, even if somebody else got 1,000 times more than I got, even if I feel like I'm being held back from having all the resources that I could have, what can I do given my current situation? A leader always asks that question. A follower, a person who is a victim, a person who is destined to fail in life, what they say is, who's to blame for this? Who's responsible? Who's in my way? Who or what is blocking me? What's holding me back? And then they'll make noise about it. They can complain about it, but listen, the problem with complaining is that it's not a strategy. Complaining is not a strategy. You can use complaining, hopefully to motivate and inspire yourself to go get off of your behind and go do something for yourself. But as long as you're looking out the window at your problems, you can't control them because they're outside. But when the problems are in the mirror, now you got 100% control. Leaders always have control. And if they don't have control over anything physically, they always have control mentally because they know that they can always do something for themselves, even if the only thing that they do is changing the way they think about and look at a situation. A leader understands this. A follower doesn't quite get it. And so they got to look outside at somebody else or something else. Now, you got to ask yourself, each one of you individually who is listening to me right now, are you a leader or are you a follower? Because a leader takes ownership, even when they're not responsible. A follower passes ownership off on somebody else. I'll give y'all a simple example. I'll talk about it in this book right here. When I was trying to play ball, I was in college. A new coach came in after my sophomore year, before my junior year. New coach came in. Coach who recruited me loses his job. And now a new guy comes in. He cleans house. All the players who was on the team, gone. I ended up out of the basketball program. Not because I wasn't good. Not because I lost my skills. But because this new coach is wanting new players in there. Now I'm not even on the team. I'm in college. I came to this school to play ball. And now I'm not even on the basketball team. Now, was that my fault? No. It wasn't my fault that the coach got fired. He had an issue with the staff and the athletic department. It wasn't my fault. I didn't get worse at basketball. It's not like all the players who came in was better than me. I was just not on the basketball team. It was not my fault at all. It was just complete bad luck. Sometimes bad luck happens in life. And luck matters in life. In case nobody ever told you, luck absolutely matters. So this bad luck happened to me. I'm not on the hoop team for my last year and a half of college. Not my fault at all. But is it my responsibility? I wanted to go pro. I wanted to play ball overseas. Is it my responsibility? Of course it was. Because if I didn't take ownership of that situation and say, all right, I'm not on the team. I still need to work on my game. I still need to get better. And I still want to go pro after this. If I didn't say, what can I do given this situation to make this work? Listen, this book would not exist. Neither would this one and neither would this one. And you wouldn't be watching this live right now. If I hadn't asked myself, what can I do to take ownership of this situation? What a lot of people do, and listen, I got the emails. I can show you in my inbox, my phone. I can show you in my inbox all the emails from players who've been through similar situations that I just described, whether in high school, college, anywhere in life. They ain't got to be sports. Somebody did something that affected them directly that messed up their situation. That's what happened to me. Somebody did something who I didn't control them. What they did was not about me, but it affected me, and it affected me in a negative way that hurt my situation. That's what happened to me. This happens to people every single day in life. What are you going to do? Are you going to own it and say, all right, not my fault, but this is my life. This is my career. This is my school. This is my job. This is my business. This is my house. This is my family. What am I going to do about this situation? Or is it, oh, this person did that, and you just sit there and wait for something to happen? Don't wait around for something to happen in life, because here's the problem with waiting around for something to happen. Usually nothing happens. Now, are you looking in the mirror or are you looking out the window? You got to ask yourself that question. You should ask yourself that question every day. Point number 3, the topic here today is when you are backed into a corner, or when a person's backed into a corner, this is when you get a true test of what an individual's character is. You want to know what someone's character is, see how they deal with the fact that things are not going their way. Point number 3, as I just talked about, I basically just said this. Leaders don't blame. Leaders do not make excuses. Leaders are not looking out the window. Leaders are always looking in the mirror, always. Leadership is the person who, when things don't go right, they ask themselves, what can I do? What did I do? What am I responsible for? What actions can I take? And they never point the finger at anybody else. The challenge that I put out when I put that post on IG last Sunday called Dear White People, and the challenge that I put out when I put a follow-up post like 3 or 4 days later called Dear Black People, it was the same message. I was just talking to 2 different groups of people, but I was talking to the same people actually every single time. That wasn't really about the white people. It wasn't their issue. It was, all right, what are we going to take ownership of? And where are we trying to go? What's the strategy to get there? And who's the leader that people can follow? And it's kind of a trick question, because each one of you who's listening to me right now, I don't care if you're watching this on replay, you listen to me live right now, you must always take personal leadership of yourself. Until everyone in a group takes personal leadership of themselves, that group will never reach its full potential. Everybody got to take leadership. Y'all saw the Michael Jordan documentary, right, with the Chicago Bulls. Well, was Michael Jordan a leader? Absolutely, he was a leader. He was the best player. He was the most outspoken guy. He was the one that drove everybody else, and he did all the trash talking to get everybody in gear to do what they had to do. But here's the thing. There was players who played for the Bulls who didn't make it to the championship years. They got ran out of Chicago. They couldn't play with Michael Jordan. Why? What was the difference between the guys who was on the Bulls before they won titles and the guys who came in and won titles after that? What was the difference? Those other guys is not necessarily the other guys that came in, the Steve Kerrs and the Ron Harpers, was better than the people who were there before. The difference is the people who came in, they understood, yeah, Mike is the man, and he's going to do all that talking and barking and pushing us. But the thing is, they all also had to have their own personal leadership. They each had to take personal leadership of their own career. Yeah, I know Mike is the guy, but I still got to take leadership of doing what I got to do. All right, Steve Kerr didn't have 10% of Michael Jordan's talent, but Steve Kerr took personal ownership and personal leadership of what do I need to do, me, Steve Kerr, so I could be in best position to help this team with what I got. With this is the talent that I got. What can I do with this to help this team and put this team in best position to win? I ain't Jordan. I ain't even Pippen. But what can I do? Ron Harper, what can I do? Dennis Rodman, what can I do to help? So even in a team where there's one leader and there's a clear leader, all right, you might have a job right now. You work at somebody's company. You're not the leader. You're not the boss. You're not the owner. But for that organization to be at its best, you and everybody else in there, I don't care if you're at the lowest level of the company, you got to take personal ownership and personal leadership for what you need to do in doing your job. If you're not doing that, I don't care how great the leader is, there's only but so far that team's going to go. All right, you get on a basketball team with LeBron, all right, he can do everything, but you still got to do your job. If you're not ready to do your job, how's everybody else going to do theirs? And how is that team going to get as far as it's going to go? And this is applying to everything. I'm just using sports as an example because all y'all know these people that I'm talking about. But in your company, if you own the company, if you're the head of the company, if you work at a company, if it's just you right now, you must always take personal leadership. What can I do? Look in the mirror. What did I do to cause this situation? What can I do to change the situation? And where are we going? What is the strategy? What is the plan? Where do I begin? How do I know that I got to the end point? How do I know that I've completed this plan? These are things that you need to know. If you don't have the answers to these questions, then you're not, what are you doing? You're using a whole lot of energy and you're using up your time, the most valuable resource you have, but you have no idea where you're going. A lot of people running around right now like chickens with their heads cut off, making a lot of noise, drawing a lot of attention, but where is it going? All right, what's the end game to all the energy? If you can't answer the question, why are you doing it? And I'm gonna let you marinate on that one as I recap these points. And I'm gonna tell you about these 2 books that you can get for free right now. And then if anybody got a question, I will address it right now. So if you got a question, go ahead and post it. I'm gonna recap these points, tell you about these books. The topic here today, for those who came in the middle of my speaking, is if you want to find out, you want to see the true test of someone's character, look at how they respond to their back being against the wall, things not working in their favor, something just going left. Y'all know what I mean when I say going left, not going the way you wanted it to go. I told y'all the story. I was playing a basketball tournament, and this guy he thought he was high and mighty. He lost. After he lost, he started talking about all this stuff that he would have did in the game that he didn't do it. And I realized afterwards that it wasn't really about me. It was just his insecurity, and it showed me what his character really was. Because if the guy had any character whatsoever, he would have said, yo, good game, and walked away. But instead, he had tried to save face because he was an insecure guy. His character was weak. I don't know what's become of that gentleman since then, but it's something that I think about whenever I talk about this topic. Point number one, you want to see somebody's character, watch how they respond to losing. Watch how they respond to things not working. Watch how they respond when things are going the opposite direction from how they want it to go. Listen, everybody is a person of character and can be humble and can be nice and say all the right things when you win. Or it's easy to say the right things when you won because, everybody's looking at you and you're feeling good. You're shining, right? But when you lose and everybody's looking at you that you lost and you didn't get your goal and somebody beat you, how do you respond then? If you want to know someone's character, watch how they respond when they take an L. Point number two, when you are secure in yourself, you can take a loss without pointing fingers, without dishing blame, without letting your insecurities show, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, all right, where am I responsible for this failure? This did not work out. Where do I take responsibility for this not going the way that it was supposed to go? Every leader always does this. And point number three, leaders never blame or make excuses. Ever, ever, ever. You never hear a leader blame or make excuses. Followers blame and make excuses. Losers and victims blame and make excuses. Leaders don't make excuses. There's not even in their vocabulary. Leadership is a person who, when things don't go right, if they say anything, they say something about what they failed to do, and what they need to do is never about anybody else. Leaders look in the mirror at themselves. Victims and followers and losers, they look out the window at everybody else. You got to ask yourself, which one are you? Now, this book right here is called The Mirror of Motivation. The subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. I've already paid for this book. That's why I want to give it to you for free. That's why I'm telling you about it right now. All you got to do is take care of the shipping. But let me tell you what this book is and why it exists. I wrote this book for anyone out there who wants to step out of this old version of you. Maybe the version of you that is always looking out the window and start looking in the mirror so that you can become a true leader and take ownership of your life. If that sounds like the type of person that you want to be, change who you are being as a person, which will affect your actions, which will lead to you getting the results that you want. That's the process. Being, then doing, then having. If that sounds like you, go to mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is already paid for. You take care of the shipping. I will ship this book to you worldwide. I got a stack of these sitting. I'm looking at them right now. A stack of these that need to be shipped out. And we got more on the way. We got about 25 of these coming in tomorrow. Mirrorofmotivation.com. This right here is called the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This book is for anyone who wants to play professional basketball overseas. Even if you came from a small school, you don't have a decorated background, no one's ever given you a real chance, you feel you've been overlooked and underrated your whole career, but you feel like you got the talent to play basketball professionally, go to balloverseas.com. I'm going to give you a 237-page blueprint. Everything you need to know, everything you need to do, and the things you need to avoid, the mistakes that you should not make. Go to balloverseas.com so you can get your career overseas. So they'll pay for your flight, they'll pay for your food, they'll pay for your crib, and you get a salary for playing basketball. If there's a better job in the world than what I just described, somebody tell me what it is. There ain't one. Balloverseas.com. The book's paid for. You take care of the shipping. Balloverseas.com. Now let me see what we got in the comment section. I'll tell you about working your game in a minute, time permitting. So if somebody got a question, Facebook, you got a question, don't be shy. Go ahead and say something. All right, so let's see what we got going on here. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. What is this? This is the first week in June. It's super humid down here in Miami. So shout out to the humidity. Antonio said it's hot as hell over here in Fort Worth, Texas at the same time. So shout out to everywhere that's hot. Brandon says save face at the same time. Well, you had the right idea. We on the same wavelength. Let's see here. No Limit Angel says, your strength book show workouts that could increase your vertical. It will be the strength book, which is position of power that you're referring to, No Limit Angel, and the other one is called The Ultimate Athlete. You can get both of those in a bundle when you get your free copy of this book. We're going to make you an offer right after that on the next page on where you can get both of those books together, Ultimate Athlete and Position of Power. So yes, will they help you increase your vertical? Of course. They'll help you with your overall athleticism for basketball. That's what the programs are. Understand that being an athlete in basketball is not about jumping, not just about jumping high. Because to jump high, first of all, you got to get the ball. All right, because if you're jumping, you ain't got the ball, it doesn't matter. Or maybe if you want to grab a rebound or block a shot, but then you got to be in the right position. So lateral movement, retro movements, reaction time, strength, power, agility, quickness, flexibility. All of that is part of what you need to jump. When you jump, is your whole body. It's not just that part. And to do all that, you actually got to be on the court. You got to earn some playing time. So it's more than just how high you can jump. Now I don't know if you're talking about just playing ball on the playground, or you trying to make Instagram videos and LA Fitness. If you're trying to play some actual ball, first of all, get this book right here so you can play some actual ball. If you want to be a YouTuber, it's all good, but I ain't no YouTuber. All right, you want to be a real life basketball player? Get this book, and then we'll make an offer for you to get the position of power and the ultimate athlete. So you got everything you need, and you ain't got to worry about missing nothing. So hopefully that answers your question. Actually, I'm sure that answers your question. Christian says, I want to improve my vertical so I can dunk. I'm 5'6". I know flexibility, power, and technique are important. Yes, you're correct. They are important. That's why you need to get those 2 programs that I just described, Ultimate Athlete and Position of Power. You can get those by going to hoophandbook.com, and you can pay full price. I think we got them listed at $67 a piece. But when you get this book that is already paid for, all you got to do is pay for the shipping. We will offer you both of those books for $47. That's the offer that we're going to make for you. So, I mean, you can do math, right? But it's your choice, your money. Sports Lover says, would you beat up your dad if he threw away your trophies, diplomas, or accomplishments? My back is against the wall because I don't know what to do. Well, that's not the same situation here. Sports Lover. Would you beat up your dad? I don't know if beating up your dad's going to bring back your trophies, diplomas, or accomplishments. Wait, how can he can't throw away your accomplishments. Accomplishment is just something that you did. No, trophies and diplomas is different. So, no, I don't think I would beat him up. That's not going to do anything. It might feel good in the moment when you do it, but I don't think it's going to bring back your trophies. It's not going to bring your trophies out of the trash. So, I don't know. You might want to call a psychiatrist or child services or something. I don't know how old you are. You might want to call the Department of Child Services, Child Welfare or something. Get you up out of there. That sounds like what you might need. Coffee the Great was good. Antonio said, what's your ultimate goal in life? To work on my game. You set me up for that one. So work on your game. This book right here, this is taking a pro athlete mindset to dominate your game in business, sports, and life. I took my whole philosophy, all these frameworks that I give y'all every time I do these lives, and I condensed it down to 250 pages, the best 250 pages. If I took everything that I ever talked about and put it in one book, it'd be 250,000 pages. But I condensed it down to 250 pages. And this book right here, hardcover, you can get this book at workonyourgamebook.com. Let me tell you what you're going to get when you go there. We're going to give you over $1,200 in digital bonuses immediately. Not now, but right now. Immediate digital bonuses you can download and access on your phone right now when you order this hardcover book. You understand that? Now, you can't get this book on Amazon, it's on iBooks, it's on Audible. Difference is when you get it there, you don't get the bonuses. So if you want $1,200 in bonuses, free digital bonuses to come with the book, go to workonyourgamebook.com. Now, if you don't want the bonuses, you don't like free digital bonuses, you don't like getting stuff for free that's going to give you clear game, like what I've just done for the last 45 minutes, then you can go over there, you can get them from there. All right, but it's your choice. But don't say nobody told you. So, one more time, mirrormotivation.com, balloverseas.com. So those of y'all who don't know, maybe watch me for the first time, I do these lives every single day at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. Unless otherwise noted. Sometimes I might move it back. Some days I might move it forward. But if you just follow my story on Instagram, I always tell you if there's an update, if I'm going to do it or not do it, something like that. But just follow me on. If you already follow me, probably on IG. Turn on your notifications so when I go live, you know that I went live. And that's that. And come with your questions. Come with an open mind. Come ready to get some game. Come ready to learn. And come ready to do something different or think differently about your life. I'm never going to waste your time. I'm always going to give you real game that's actually going to make you better, make you smarter, and make you a more complete, a more productive person in life. You will be a higher contributing member of society as long as you listen to me, stay close to what I'm sharing, and then you actually implement what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for over 15 years online. Anybody who knows me knows this. That's an absolute fact, and that's that. So if you want more of this, you like what you heard today, and you want more, be back here tomorrow. Work on your game. Dre all day. We out of here.